All right, so we're here. Evidently, I've been told I'm the bad guy already. We haven't even started, and I'm the bad guy. We got two guys, both named Ray. Rey and Rae.
We have Ray from Fresh Meats, and then we have old friend who just happens to be a former NCCA judge. You're now the operations manager here at Detailing World in Springfield, New Jersey. But are you currently judge at Electrify Expo?
Yeah, I do actually with Louis Vegas. So he brings me around with him. And so still critiquing.
Still critiquing.
Hate to hate.
Ray is also doing critiquing, and it has been for quite some time. So it's kind of cool that we have two different guys. Anytime you have two different people, you're gonna have two different aspects, right? Two different angles and stuff. Yeah. So it's kind of cool. It's gonna be cool. Kind of an old school guy and a guy that's doing new school stuff.
Well, he's old school and
he's
that's what I'm saying. But
I'm old as hell. He's old. He looks young.
But you have how many EVs?
Not with this haircut. Watch it whoop it like a
I just put my whole foot in my mouth. I'm hairy now.
I think it was kind of cool how they were like, hey, you need to get Ray from Fresh Meats, and I'm like, how am I going to get Ray from Fresh Meats, right? Like I know that the channel is always open, but it was like, when can we actually knock it out? And we come here and boom, you're standing right in front of me.
The planets align.
Yeah, everything aligned.
Unexpectedly, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that you're like open to do it. There's some guys that have to like be prepped and ready, but we've already had some great conversations in the 10 minutes we've been sitting around.
You know, to be honest, it's probably the first podcast I've ever done, being in the automotive industry. I've had a lot of great opportunities, and I've always been against it. Not that I have anything against podcasts, but the storytelling, right? And I've been monitoring, I've been watching a lot of your stuff. A lot of people called me about it. A lot of people talked to Harry, like Ray. So it kind of made sense. I like how blunt the podcast is. I like how honest. I like the topics. I think it's educational perspective for our new and old generation. So that's why I'm here.
Right. So I like how you use the word educate, right? So what I want people to realize is, Ray, I want you to talk about your NCCA days versus, the judging now. So kind of dive into a little bit of the NCCA. If you guys don't know, we've talked about NCCA like multiple episodes, but it was a points-based series, right? Almost like NASCAR, right?
Yeah.
So
similar.
Yes.
This is golf.
Yeah.
Like golf.
It was the elite of elite.
Right. It was the elite. It was the standard for a while, and it was great how it came.
It came about because how import nights would look for a scapegoat. They didn't want to get blamed for bad decisions, and they created an NCCA. So just a little tidbit.
So, but that I think that's good because they created a standard for other shows to go off of.
That couldn't hurt
they
the
didn't expect it
reputation
to
of the
go
brand.
up.
Right.
So.
Right, but I think that was the great part was that going into every show, if the NCCA was sanctioned, we knew what we were walking into, right? Like
You knew the judges,
A standard
you knew
system.
the standard.
yeah,
right.
and I think what was cool was that when you guys first started, I remember it was you. I don't even remember this, but it was Farm Show Complex.
Yeah, of course.
And you had, I think you had a bulletproof vest on.
Yep, and the cops was like, what are you doing with that? And he was like checking me, because they don't see my kind over there. So I'm like, yeah, that's cool,
So I remember the first time I seen that, I'm like, oh man, when am I?
It's serious.
Like, this is serious, right? Because this is when I was bringing the Civic back out. Or no, sorry, when I was bringing the Civic out originally.
Right,
originally, right? And again, it was a West Coast build, West Coast inspired built on the East Coast, right? So, it was like
East Coast flair.
Yeah, I didn't know if the guys out here would really understand that yet, right? Because I was doing a lot of Nopi, a lot of those type of shows before I did this, right? So I always talk about Hot and Poor Nights.
Yeah.
And it took me like between 4 and 6 Hot and Poor Nights before I won my first one. And it wasn't until I drove down to Charlotte, and then this is when Emotion first kind of formed.
Yeah.
And then Jason and Tommy and Minho, that was their first one, and they all won, and they're all looking at me like, well, that wasn't that hard, and I'm like, bro, like you didn't struggle like I should.
But you had a different. You kind of were like, when that happened for you, that's when we were retired. My team was retiring, and you guys were the new guys coming in, taking over. The cool thing about that is like, that was the beginning, and you never looked back. Like you just fucking took it and ran. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's cool is that it's all history now, right? We look back at it, and it's like it's all history. But
so let's touch on the other Ray, and just give them your story and kind of where you came from. And
Right here, Fresh Meat Events began in a small Richmond, Virginia. This all evolved alongside Can I Beat. We would travel yearly to the East Coast Honda Meet. Shout out to Marcus Hyde. And for years, just a normal enthusiast, right? Enjoying the culture, the lifestyle, going state to state, winning awards, stuff like that. And the lack of proper event platforms and the hit from social media at the time kind of gave me a different perspective onto what an entertainment basis show should be. You had shows like Hot Import Nights going out the door. People wanted Hot Import Nights, right? So that kind of gave me the motivation to host events, and I'm honored to say that the team and I have hosted some of the largest shows on the Northeast at the time. Took a little break in 2015 due to a tragic loss of 2 of my participants at our event. A lot of people don't know that, and that's why I decided to take a
hiatus.
Stop. Yes, I had. So
but you're back.
We're back. We came back in 2020. We collabed with Brad from OC Car Show, Atlantic City Showboat.
Shout out to Brad.
Brad's my guy.
Brad, I missed you. Yeah. You need to bring that show back. We love that show.
Yep.
Oh, I love that show. I don't know if you liked it.
We did Atlantic City Showboat, parking garage, 9 floors, completely full. 2 top floors, over 100 sneaker vendors. On the top deck, we had BMX freestylers. People thought we were crazy.
That's crazy.
And we had about 10 graffiti artists doing live murals on the top deck.
Sick.
That's crazy.
And Ray, I remember just seeing you kind of like a little bit everywhere, right? Tuner Evo, I remember, you were with Tuner Evo right when it started. And then I didn't see you for a little bit, but then I saw you again with Elite Tuner.
Yeah.
Right? So, you've definitely been in and out.
Yeah.
So
I've worked with a lot of brands. Some of the people that know. I'm not the type of guy that posts stuff on social media. A lot of people were surprised to see me in California, Arizona, different events, different platforms. I like to see and do the good in the automotive industry, and if I can work with an entity that we have similar marketing strategies or interests, then we'll work with it. So I have worked with T in the past. I've worked with Elite in the past, and now I'm kind of focused on our community. Like I'm focused on what Fresh Meat is doing for the enthusiasts.
I think that's what we're all doing, right? We're trying to kind of for the enthusiasts at this point, right? Like, we talk about how shows were, right? Will we ever get back to that? Let's be realistic. Probably not.
I don't
To our
know
degree,
if that's-
probably not.
Yeah, to our degree.
But
the
then
reason
it's up
that,
and coming,
but the reason that I disagree is because it's all about, something catching. We have another Fast and Furious movie coming out. God knows what that can do.
I mean, that kind of grows old too, right? Like you're like
it
another
does.
one.
It does, but I think the direction they're moving is like the original stuff, like not the superhero car stuff. It's going to be more realistic.
It's funny that you say that. A lot of people don't know that when they began, the original writer to that movie, he was in New York when we used to street race in Huts Point.
DRT guy.
And we were contacted, our crew, and to be part of the movie.
I saw the back.
And then Universal kind of took it, bought it, and they took it out west. So the storyline was really New York. The storyline was really
It was based off
New
the
York, New
Street
Jersey.
Racer.
Huts Point, and the Racer, yeah.
Racer
DRT had a big part of it, and they were kind of wiped.
Shout out to DRT. They used to have this badass twin turbo drag car back. Remember
Bro,
that?
they had everything. Those guys were
The
like
Civic twin turbo drag car.
Yep.
I'm old as fuck.
So Ray, let me ask you this, right? So I always wanted to know, right? Now that we're 25 years later, right? Like the first time you saw Emotion roll into the farm show complex, like what was your first thought?
Here comes trouble.
Here comes trouble.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They had some nice cars, and
When
they had
we first rolled in the first 5 cars, it was me, Jason, Tommy, Minho, Youngman.
Right.
And we had
They had a sting to him that was optimistic, like, oh, they're doing something with that crew, So it was Alex. I remember seeing Alex with the black WRX though, like.
I was a little bit further on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always felt, you can tell me I'm wrong, you can tell me I'm right. I always felt like the other judges didn't really get that JDM style. And I always felt like you were the one that was kind of like teaching them, like, hey, like, yeah, these guys are fiberglass, these guys got car stereos, but these guys, their builds are just equally as important, and the work in it is just as equal as that?
I would argue it's harder to do a JDM car in that era.
In that era, yeah.
It was because the area where you guys were exposed to that kind of build, they weren't familiar with it, right? So there were extreme dimensions, like wings, Westkits was quality. But what they were doing was customizing custom parts, and that was always going to be a little better than just, you know, a catalog car. But to me, I mean, yeah.
I mean, was it categorized as like JDM?
Yeah.
Because I remember at one era, I think HIN did it in Puerto Rico back in the days, it was Best Asian. It was never
best
JDM. It was like the JDM category kind of came about, and as a judge, you were kind of like, how do you identify that? Because it's Japanese domestic market parts,
JDM, yeah.
relatable to OEM parts, right?
Right.
So as a judge, how did you handle that?
Well, here's the two things. There was two ways to look at it. Either JDM OEM or JDM aftermarket, right?
Correct.
JDM domestic parts could still mean aftermarket parts from Japan.
Correct.
Because there's a lot of replica parts. So we always had that controversy too.
So,
Well, let's talk about replica parts.
What's up, Bruce? Oh, you're good. All right. I'll lock up. I think Larry's still back there.
But you get what I'm saying, right? Like I always had a niche for like when people were like, my car so, remember the my car so JDM era?
yes.
Like it was like, well, you can't like why do we identify? Even now when I see awards and it says best JDM, it frustrates me. Like, why does it say best JDM?
That these shows got to explain why it is.
Why, correct.
You know, they got to define. These shows are their own entity. You can't compare Tuner Evo to Elite Tuner. You can't compare WEKFEST.
No.
You know, you can't. They're,
No.
they're their own entity. So they're responsible for explaining the criteria of
Correct.
how to, you know, win that category.
Which is not well explained.
So let me ask you guys another question. So typically, when you're a competitor on a certain level, right? I would say like the Team Emotion, or my old team, Absolute Imports. There was a time where you just see the same cars, even though you go to these different events. You know, we have a car right now, Marvin's green car. We're going to get into that later. That wins all the best of shows at the current moment, right? But you guys are talking about different criteria for different venues or different series. How can you say that that's what they're looking for, but like in the end, when the best of show kind of, you know, the best of show beats everybody, right? Best Honda, best Ford, best Toyota, best whatever. But that same car goes and does the same work at all those events. How do you say that these events are different when in the end, you know, they're awarding the same car, the same great. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from
Well, that's how they have to define it, right? That's how they got to categorize it. And then sometimes too, they start spreading awards because that car is gonna sweep. So they're like, you know what? Let's filter it out and spread the awards. I think that's unfair. I think you should give it to the winner.
Stack.
Correct.
Stack, right? We've been talking about stack.
That's a big issue.
Why would I just because I'm gonna win best of show doesn't mean you should get best Honda, and I got the Honda that's gonna win best of show like that.
No, you absolutely, from where we came up, I mean, guys would walk away with 5, 6, 7 trophies, you know what I mean? And then get best of show.
Yeah.
And
You were able to, yes.
nobody really cried about it.
That was
You know
my
what I mean?
biggest beef with people back then. Like when my own staff, I was like, just give it to him because he deserves it. I was like, at least there won't be no questions asked. Because if you let somebody else win, all of a sudden you got red flags, and then all of a sudden we're not doing our job.
Right.
Yep.
Doesn't make sense.
So that leads me back to the question, you know, do you guys as judges with, like, you know, you guys got all the
Yeah, we're decorated.
Decorated. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're decorated.
You're decorated. What's going on now? Like, what do you guys see now?
I think what's happening is
We talked about this earlier. I'm gonna push you.
I think what's happening is people are starting to hide their builds. See, back then when the cars would roll in, there's people that would, you know, they would go out of their way to make sure they're the last cars to come in so that they could hide their builds, so they could debut it when the crowd comes in. They would put their cars on their covers, but now everybody's on social media. If you see somebody else's build from the West Coast, you're like, look, and you're just spamming and looking at everything. I think now everybody's trying to hide their build so that they're waiting for an event to come out so they can debut it and be like, look, I don't even need to win, but check this out. Yep. You know, I think that's what's happening right now. Like you have a buddy tomorrow that's coming with an R35. I want to see what that's about.
Yeah, we are actually. I'm sorry. So that we could date this, we are currently at the pre-meet for WEKFEST, New Jersey 2025. I do have a new member debuting tomorrow.
Super excited about that one.
Yeah. So
Have you seen it? Okay. I haven't even seen it.
Yeah, so
We got a lot of cars coming with new stuff tomorrow.
But you know what? It's to me like some of these guys, like for example, this one individual that we're talking about, he should have been in a motion car.
He's
Like,
an OG builder.
yeah,
he's
he was an OG builder,
Yep.
and his first car should have been in motion. Like,
The thing is that he was New Image, right?
He's a great builder too.
Right.
He's a
They
great
gave you
builder.
guys a good run
but
too.
I think it's great because same thing with Andrew Becker. I don't even remember him. He was on
What
Team
car?
Solo. He had a RSX. Now he has a
Blue
Supra.
RSX.
Right, but he circled back, rebuilt, built a Supra, and now he's on the team. So it's kind of like we're circling back and bringing in all these.
I forgot about. I remember Adam Tarr with the RXX.
Yeah.
Remember he powder coated his Jay's Racing exhaust just to get points.
yeah.
Oh my God, no way.
Wrinkle red.
I mean, let's talk
And
about that.
I'm
Let's
not
talk
even
about that,
mad,
right?
though,
So
you know?
like again, that NCCA book,
It was points.
It was
right?
point
It's all
system.
points based.
I feel like it was good, it was bad. Like, yeah, you
Yep.
built the car the way that you should feel like it was built, but then people looked at that book and was like, oh, I could get
To
two
the
extra
T.
points
Yeah,
here,
to the
two
T.
extra
Yeah.
points here, two extra points here.
Every
and-
point mattered. Every point mattered.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
crazy because then it was like what part of this is you and which part of this is, actually, I think you could tell.
I think Emotion had the best view on it because I remember they wanted to max out points, but they didn't want it to be tacky. You got Rios with the koi fish on the side that blended in. You didn't see, hey Ray, what do I do with my trunk? I don't want an audio. Put an extra wheel back there. People started putting spare Mugans and stuff.
Wow,
back
that
there.
era was wild. Yeah.
Do you remember the
That was a trend.
350 we had with the endless brake?
Yep.
on
Yep.
the
How about
side?
air jacks? Nobody like that was me telling people like, go put air jacks. It's just race bred stuff that they took to show cars.
Yep.
You know, so
I think that era that was so short and it's massively expensive to build a car.
Oh yeah, that's
that
why it was short because people
so
couldn't.
expensive.
You're talking about fuel cells that people were like wrapping in suede. You know, like
Right.
big time stuff.
Well, you didn't have the internet neither, right? To
That's
to
why
do
it was
the
awesome.
research. So we had the forums, right?
Yep.
You had places
Yeah.
like Speed Lounge. You had these,
Yep.
the Honda guys had the B20, right? Honda Tech was like
Honda
the
Tech,
largest,
the
right?
largest thing, right?
And I that was our social media. But realistically, it wasn't just that. It was the networking or the friendships across state lines. Ray's in New York. Ray's got a bad build.
Right.
It was Team Emotion from this state. So that was our social media.
Right. I think the social media for my time, which was probably a little before all that, was actually the show, right?
Yeah.
Like you went to the show, you saw some guy build something and you're like, holy crap. Like I never even seen those. I remember the first time I saw TE37s, I was like, oh my God, they're so badass, right?
I still remember my first time for nights, man, and I will never forget it.
That shit
Like,
was the best.
yeah, you go in and it was like,
Fucking club.
yeah, I was just talking to Ray, but I was like, now like car shows are competition and like kind of like, here's something to do, but back then on Pro Nights, it was a lifestyle, it was a culture, it was a lifestyle.
was a club
It was a
before the club.
movement. It was us.
It was
we
them.
would identify through the car. A lot of people don't get it. Like it's a piece of metal on four wheels. It's a figure of expression, right?
It's an
Yeah.
We
identity.
express ourselves through
Yeah.
that car, and then the promoter's job is to allow us to express ourselves within a space that's immersible, entertaining, and great to have a larger reach,
Yeah.
which we don't. Sadly, we struggle. with
And
a
I
lot.
always said, I said, what I loved about Honda Pro Nights is when you walked in, it felt like Disneyland.
Yeah.
You go in and it's like, whoa. And then each car was its own ride.
Experience.
Like,
It was a
yeah,
story.
Yeah,
It was a story.
Now it's,
Patina character. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Wow, it's
patina.
every car has a story. Like you
Yeah,
made a left and
exactly.
you had fish, you had goldfish
And
and
the
a headlight.
headlights,
Yeah.
right,
And then you went to the right, you had cotton. They used to call it cotton candy, the fake
With
clouds,
all
right?
in- yeah,
So
yeah.
it,
Real
it was
well.
like storytelling, and you can leave that show to eat, and you can come back and still enjoy the show.
Right.
And that's the story that's not there no more.
what's crazy is you could do 3 laps at a Honda Pro Nights
And still not see
still
every
not
car.
see everything. Whereas
Because it's
now
packed.
you could probably take 1 lap and you're like,
Because the
go grab
cars
lunch.
today are just plain Janes, wheels in a drop. You know, like that's the problem.
It's basic. It's basic.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not a build. It's not competition, right?
thank you.
But what do you
Right.
identify? So now that you said that, right? This is something I've had this conversation with many people in the U.S. internationally too, right? When I travel, and I like to ask this question: what do you identify a build? And we know what we identify, but for the viewers and stuff, like, what is a build to us?
It's touching every aspect of the vehicle, improving the design. You know, whether or not you see it, being able to tell what you've done to it and how it's improved. Like, you know, whether you're racing or you're just doing it for like aesthetics, It's got to be something that's either subtle but extreme. It's like, okay, I hate to use it, but my car back there, like, it's OEM plus. There's dimples on it that were cut so that it's functional. So, you know, nobody knows about it, but, you know, stuff like that to me is what I look for. It's like, hey, look, you went out of your way to make it better than factory. But then there's cars that are just wild. So you're just like, okay, well, you're so wild, I'm going to judge you based on everything all of a sudden, right? Because now you're going to get penalized for being too wild. Because now I'm looking at everything instead of like, okay, this is good fitment because it's factory, but you added this and that.
Do you guys remember the time where enthusiasts and car owners would have this big sheet? You would spend all night putting all your mods in place.
Oh yeah.
And then it was like, we had that Car Hub, was it? What was the page? It was like a speed lounge.
Great. It was like
Urban Racer?
no
Urban Racer, and you would put your profile,
Yeah.
and the judges would actually look at that.
Yeah.
The judges would actually be like, wow, he's got all these parts. Like, judges
I mean,
would
the
actually
competitor
spend
was
time
smart
with
for
your car.
doing that
Yeah.
though, because then they had a cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not there, like you guys have been judged and you're not there, and you guys expect us to know everything, but sometimes there's something new or something's dirty. It's like, well, bro, you weren't ready. Like, I penalized Scion builders at the SEMA show for leaving tools in their cars.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, it's still a show and it's show time. Like,
You gotta be
I'm
ready,
judging
show
you.
ready at all times.
Yeah, you gotta get. You know.
So I have a quick question on that. When you look at a car and you see that it's, you know, it's really, really modified, right? This is something that Harry makes me do with my car because I have to explain what the fuck is going on, right?
Right.
So, do you guys actually like when a competitor presents his car? Because that was a thing back in the day.
I want you to enlighten me. I
Right.
want to learn. I don't know everything, so I want to know what you know, and then on top of that, like what you've done.
Right.
You know?
So that's
Have you ever
kinda-
like this guy's blowing smoke?
Oh, so many times. You guys know, oh, my car's fully built, and they don't know duty cycles and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, you don't even know what's going on internally with your car. You're not built.
Because they have the money to do it, right? They have the idea.
For instance, Albert Fung, he had a remember him? Celica. He had a front mount and a turbo, but it's never connected.
Yep.
Oh,
It's
really?
yeah.
That happened a
Pete
lot.
Colello
back
called
in
it
that
out. I was like, shit, good looking, Pete. You know, that the community helps each other.
I beat that car one time.
Oh yeah.
I drove to Chicago and
But
beat that car one
the
time.
thing,
Once only.
the thing that I'm trying to get to is like, you guys want to see the competitor. You know, you want to talk to the competitor, and I will never forget. This was not even that long ago, where I was talking to a judge and I was explaining something. Maybe I was blowing some smoke up his ass, maybe a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And he called me out. At the next show was fixed.
What judge was that?
I'm not saying.
Yeah, you get.
You already know.
I already know.
You already know. He knows.
He knows.
Yeah, he knows that judge.
Yeah, but we fixed it, right? The point of the matter is like getting back to, you know, why I'm the bad guy is calling people out is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's okay.
It's fine.
Some people, man,
Respectfully,
it's
yes.
just- some people are just super sensitive, man. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, it's
Everything is-
and you know, I don't want to say do damage control, but at the end of the day, it's like, bro,
Damage
like,
control, for sure.
yeah, like, he said something about you or your car, but is it false? Like, why are we so like what's the hoopla? Like,
But I feel that the people that are sensitive, Harry, or the people that are actually building builds with meaning.
and that's
With,
what I
with
and
heart
that-
and
that's
soul,
what I
right?
said.
So they get really sensitive when you say something.
And that's what I would tell them. I would be like, hey, you know, like, your car, like, you know, for us to even just mention your car, like, that just lets you know that you're a competitor.
yeah.
Like, you're up and coming, right? So take the criticism for what it is and get better.
But
Like,
the criticism specifically that you know might sound negative, like you say, you're a competitor, you're out there, bro. That means you have like the attention of the people around you, and you can do a couple things. You can show the rest of these people what's up. You know what I mean? Say, oh, okay, I got a Pep Boys build. Let me go ahead and go.
I think it's Eddie Farcone was the one that had the rude awakening.
Oh my God.
When he brought his car to Hot Import Nights, and he thought his shit was dope.
Right.
I mean, he literally
Entitlement.
had a bio of that, and then he was like, yo, after 3 or 4 shows, he's like, oh shit. And then he spent he spent a gang of money on the wide body, and
That was a wide body BMW.
BMW.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the
You gotta give it to him. That was
it
a-
was all carbon fiber at one point,
Yes.
right?
and that's coming from him thinking that his car was dope until he came to our realm, and he was
Yep.
like, okay, now I want to compete.
It changes perspective quick.
for
Right.
sure.
But that is like without somebody. I mean, you just gotta get your ass kicked. That's
how it
honest
happens.
to God. That's the
Yeah.
only way to get better in this game is to legit.
It's just like sports. Literally
like sports.
sports.
Well,
the best analogy.
and that's what I'm trying to point out is that, hey, like,
I want you guys to get your ass kicked, by the way, but in a good sense, because nobody's kicking your ass. You guys are like,
Thank
yo,
you.
everybody's kicking the ass too.
We have been saying this.
Yes.
You and I.
I'm not saying that we're unbeatable, right?
You guys not
Like,
even bringing out your best cars. It's funny. It's comical.
But I mean, it is what it is, right? But you know,
crazy.
you're right? Because you know, there was one point where I was super comfortable and I was like, yo, just whatever, 6 cars, just go.
Right.
And we actually lost, right? We actually lost, and that kind of sparked my fire. And you know,
You have to lose to really keep that motivation going.
Right.
That's okay to lose.
It's okay, and I'm okay with that.
The losing at the point where Harry was when he lost is a crossroads. You're like, all right,
Where are we going from here?
where are we going from here? Are we gonna just let it die, or we're gonna just turn it up? And Harry decided to turn it way up. I mean,
I'm
of
not
course,
even done.
He brought me on the team.
You didn't even
So
call
we turned it
them
all the way
big
up.
dogs, bro.
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows, right? Everyone knows.
They're hibernating.
Yeah,
Not
everyone
That's
knows.
the thing. You assume everybody knows. Your job is to service that, right? So bring those cars out so that everybody does know, because not everybody knows.
But without wearing them out, right, Ray?
Yeah.
The problem is,
Right.
like, there's always, so every one car guy that's done, like, I'm not doing this, there's 10 guys that just got their license.
Yes.
So you gotta show, that's a service you have to upkeep. You want this culture to stay up, you gotta
agree with
bring it
that.
out.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
I agree with that.
That's why with Chris Rios's DC2, I mean, I'll bring it out once every 3-4 years. Like, I'm not
I haven't seen
gonna bother
Whipkins'
him.
car in a while.
wait, I was just talking about that car. I haven't seen it in
That
years.
DC2 is probably one of my favorite cars.
Yeah, but yeah, Wickens'
It's a
car,
classic.
it's local to us, so
It's a hot rod, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, smooth out engine bay.
I'm planning to actually go to his garage and do a
should.
one-on-one interview with him.
I mean,
because
he
people
was
deserve to see
E88s
that car.
before E88s were a thing
Yes.
in the show scene.
Right.
It was always a race car wheel, you know, like, it's crazy.
That car was, it still is.
Oh, it still is, yeah.
It's funny. It's funny because you look
way
at
ahead
it,
of its time.
you
It's
look
way
at
ahead
his
of its
At the
Instagram,
moment, it's still. Right.
and then you can see it like in the back.
Oh yeah.
You see
Even when it was Chameleon, it was for crying out loud, that grounds light bumper. Like,
Yep,
come
yep.
on, man.
And you know, he's the perfect example that you would see him at shows, and he was ready from the moment that car
Fucking
drove
anal.
in.
He was
That car
fucking-
was ready to be
Yeah.
judged from the moment that car drove into a show field.
But that's the difference between a competitor and somebody who's doing it for fun.
Yep.
Like
And
there's
he always presented it every time to the T. See, that's what I want. Like, to me, I just did an audit for one of these show series. I was like, let me audit your judging system, and it was sad, man. Like, it's like, oh, how come? And he's like, so what makes you guys qualify to judge and stuff like that? It was like, you see that car over there? That's my car. I do this for a living. I was like, I do not want to hear that. And then I'm looking at the bill. I was like, bro, like, that's not good to come off and say, you know. So I'm trying to help him out. I told him, I was like, look, this is what your judge is saying. It's pretty outlandish.
one of the things that I would love to see. I want to see judges bring their cars to events, and I mentioned that in our last show because, oh damn, that guy, if he knows what he's talking about, he's gonna build something, even if it's OEM plus, right? It's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be something that's gonna be.
Well, the problem is, like, I've seen so much that I was like, man, my pockets aren't there. Like, I've had people drop 6 figures on their cars, no problem. TWC, the guy with the Golf out west, you know, like Kiet,
Robert, what's it in
the FX35.
Oh, Viet 2, yeah.
There is so many, like, mastermind.
Dude, that car
over
was
there.
bad.
I'm telling you,
That car was
like,
bad. FX35, all polished motor. It was blue.
Yeah, it
Like
was
the
ahead of
polished-
its time.
Yes,
It was
yes,
a
yes,
SUV.
yes, yes.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
ahead of
That's
its
a long
time.
time, yeah. Is that car still around?
All I'm saying is that, you know, if you go to your doctor's office, they have a plaque on the wall. You know what I mean? They have something that show that.
To show their
I did-
criteria,
I did it, right? When you as a judge, I'm not saying you always have to do it, but like bring it out, you know, whatever level of
Yeah,
build
yeah.
is.
It's money,
gonna
man.
be higher than what.
I want cars. I don't want a car. I want cars. That's the thing. I want to build a JDM car, an exotic car, and I'm going to show them, like, man, but it's money. And that's why I respect everybody's build at the end of the day.
I don't respect all builds.
I got to. I was like, listen, how do you tell somebody their artwork sucks? That's the problem.
Okay,
Yeah,
as an artist,
that's
you-
good. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's
as
a very
an artist, as an artist, so I went to art school, so I love how you did that. So there's literally a time where you sit down in art school and you put all your work up on the board.
Right.
And then you know what happens? You just go around the room and you just get fucking roasted. Okay? The reason that made such a mark on me is because as an artist, as a builder, as as a designer, it put me to the next level every time, because you don't want that feeling that you had when someone told you something that you put your heart and soul in,
Yeah.
wasn't to the level.
To get constructive criticism.
So-
even then, it hurts. It's like,
Right, but for me, and maybe that's the problem, I kind of, I'm out doing what I think people need to get to the next level that worked for me. Brutal honesty. Brutal honesty, because if I tell you, like, dude, it's okay to rock those rotiforms. Is that okay? Is that okay? If you're really trying to get to the next level with your build?
It's okay to respect it at the moment, right? And for what he
course.
can afford or can
Afford,
get,
yeah.
or what he has knowledge
It's
in,
stages,
right?
right?
But I think that the crucial point in that conversation or in that room at that time is kind of educating, leading them on, and showing them that quality takes time, bro.
hell yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, the
And
conversation.
that's part of it.
The conversation I would have at that point is like, how much do these rotas cost you?
Yeah.
1,000?
See, Gucci and Gap don't match. That's
Yeah.
the difference.
But then I
right?
was like,
Yeah, don't match. I like that one.
But then I would be like,
No.
well, how much was whatever other set of wheel, right? Meisters or whatever. Yo, 0 to 1,000?
You're a quarter of the way there.
It's a lot, right? But 1,000 to 3,000, like, dude,
Just save your money.
Just save a little bit more, and you can get right. There's no rush.
People
like
are
you
so
said.
eager. They
Yeah,
want
I
to be
know.
the first. They want to,
Yeah.
oh man, I can't wait to be with the boys and show
But
up.
anyone that's getting rotas is not the first, right? Like,
But they just want, they just want to modify, right? But
And they don't know any better because this guy didn't bring his cars out. That's the problem.
But
That's a big.
modifying-
Okay, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
Because now they're looking at the
modifying right.
parking lot and it's like a bunch of rotas. So, rotas are acceptable. Let's go.
Yeah.
But modifying right, when you're talking about, eBay seats, it's legit dangerous. It's legit not safe for you to have those seats. Rotas, how many times, remember when you guys are old, remember there were pictures of guys with
Spokes
with
just breaking
spokes
off.
broken
Yeah.
off.
But here's the problem: motorsports, they run rotas, no problem. It's because there's no like messed up roads, right? So Formula Drift, they had a bunch of cheap wheels. So now you're going to Formula Drift with a up and coming build. You're like, oh, he got rotas on. That's good.
But I think the difference is when you go to that event, they also have rotas stacked to the ceiling.
Yeah, I
for
know.
that same
Oh,
guy.
I know. Just in case something breaks.
Just in case something breaks.
Yeah.
We're talking about guys that, have a budget. They don't necessarily have that. To Harry's point, you're only 50% to your goal of
Yeah.
a badass wheel that won't leave you on the side of the road. You know what I mean?
It has a lot to do with hype beasting.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I'm a
course.
hype beast, right? Like I'm
course.
into all that stuff. So within the rotas, the fake seats, and the local speed shops popping up in every corner, selling that, pushing that to the public eye. That's what they're going to consume. Starbucks came on the market, and it just became you got to compare it to that. The more you see it, and the more you hear of it, and see your friends doing it, then society nowadays is more adaptive to what the next guy's doing, because that's what they see on socials, rather than being uniquely different like a Harry.
Right. I just think that there's a next level for everything.
Yeah.
And
Well,
in
you
order to
can't-
get to people to the next level, you have to kind of rattle their cage.
You can't have Soho taste and Chinatown budget.
Nope.
I know they're right next to each other.
Right.
But still, it's like you got to remember, be like, hey man, you got to take your time, right? But the problem is the person that comes in gung ho like Minho, he didn't have to take his time. He was getting mods done at the show.
Wow. I mean, and then that was again.
Those are golden eras.
So I don't know if you remember. So remember, Minho used to have the absolute import sticker
Right.
on his windshield, and you guys finally were like, hey, like, is he emotion?
Is he-
he
yeah,
AI?
I remember,
Right.
I remember.
So AI was his old team, which they were kind of disbanding. So as respect to his crew, I was like, hey, Minho, whenever you're ready, I'm not forcing you to do anything,
Yeah.
right? Because at the end of the day, like when we roll in together, like truth
Shout out
is
to
truth.
Minho for just being a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys at that time would just
Yeah, and I
you know,
think not only
try-
that, but I don't want to take credit for it, but like, I was there to guide him. Like,
I mean, we were
kinda
there to start it.
You started it,
We
but then I
started
was
it,
able to
right.
like kind of navigate everything else for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Minho is
that car
that car is fun
was fun,
one's
right?
fun,
But
yeah.
that car did a lot
with a stock color.
for.
well, it wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah,
So
yeah.
close to stock.
Everyone was like, yeah, it's a stock color, but it had that gold pearl on it. Right?
Yeah, I know it had a
Yeah.
U, but I was like, that's a stock base. But he got away with it because of the
Over fender.
no, the what was the design?
Oh, the cherry blossom.
Yeah,
Cherry blossom.
it was so.
Yeah.
he took that inside too with the Nas cans, and he was doing that at the shows. I was like, man, you the man.
Yeah, that's right. We airbrushed. There was
during competition.
On the Nation Ball, there was someone airbrushing at an event where like he was like cherry blossom.
I loved it. I loved it so much.
I think what's cool about that car is it was a good period for Absolute, and ended that era where we did a lot of really cool shit. And then you guys took that car to the next level. Like you guys took an Absolute build, and then you guys made it an Emotion build. And there was no, you couldn't look at the build after you guys got a hold of it and see anything that Absolute did. You know what I mean?
It was just so epic because the car was brand new. You know, the Z was new at the time. And now he's doing all that Veilside stuff. I mean, that Veilside stuff is still expensive today.
Yeah. So it's crazy because I always say that he robbed me because I was like, how many shows would I have won Best of Show if that car wasn't around? You know what I mean? And I just took it on the chin like.
But I'm glad because he was leveling up. You know, even though your car maxed out on a lot of points, he was the next generation of builder.
Exactly.
Like, you need to push the bar forward. You can't keep giving that car that maxes out on points awards because eventually that's why we grandfathered a lot of cars.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great
and then
perspective.
The next thing we talk about Veilside.
That's a great perspective.
But
what Ray just said.
Beating the crap out of guys and then giving guys
pushing the bar
the next
forward.
guy, pushing the next, the evolution of what we are, right? And what we're gonna become.
So my biggest fight from back in the days at Hot Airport Nights during like the end of it was giving the Titan cars. Remember the Titan cars in Florida? The supercars? They never thought they would win like an award, but I was like, you guys are street cars, but race cars.
But it wasn't a thing for them to win that.
And they were so happy that they won. They sent me packages, and I was like, y'all didn't even want this. But I was like, listen, you guys are pushing the bar so that people realize like their street car can win. You know, just acknowledging like the regular traffic to win. Because, it didn't have too much, but it was fast as hell, color change, and
the orange car.
Yeah, the Titan orange car. I remember there was 2 of them.
Yeah.
So they were good people, man. Like I miss those people, like that era,
I just think that like we are living a lot of emotion, no pun intended, from that time.
Because it was good.
It was good.
I mean, you had the Tracy widebody S2000 that had the 2J that was racing. It was going 8 seconds, and it was at car shows executed perfectly.
Right.
Body lines, everything. It was
one of
nice.
the first ones to go 2J, right?
Yeah. Remember
It's not
Tracy
the first
widebody?
one, yeah.
Shit was badass, man.
At the time, that was like, wow, show car and go.
Yeah,
it was the go and show thing.
You remember
Like,
Fizz? They had the IS300.
Yes.
Yeah.
They went on the dyno and pumped like 700 or 800 horsepower and the Valvoline dyno. That was mad fun back then.
So let's talk about that. I mean, there are cars that are in this bay here right now that can light up the dyno. Right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's excitement that these guys could do. I mean, I'm not really a fan of the car limbo. Boring, right? I'm not a fan of that.
Remember they used to bring dynos out to
That's what I'm talking
mobile
about.
dynos everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Why can't we do that again? I mean, again, I'm not here to beat up on promoters, but like, there are things that can excite people at a show, like, side bets guys did at races.
Yeah.
You could do side bets at
Oh
the
my
dyno,
God! Remember
right?
that? We were at the bleachers, $5, $7. You went home with $200 in your pocket.
We were actually talking about a concept. Tell me, now that we got 2 like official
I think
judges,
he knows about the concept,
right? It's a concept, right? We call it the call out, right? So let's just say me and him are beefing online, right? And we go to a show, right? And
Online.
he's a Honda, I'm a Lexus, okay? And I'm like, yo, so we'll never know whose car is better. So it's like, yo, I want to call you out. Heads up, 2 judges, judge the car, which one's better?
In front of everybody.
In front of everybody. You know
I agree.
what I mean? Like,
I just had that conversation with Jay Martinez.
right?
I think to step it up even
right?
more, you guys should judge each other's car, right? You present him your car, I present you my car, and then you be like, your car is better, because at the end of the day, my opinion is going to be my opinion, regardless, But if you guys are trying to figure out whose car is better, you guys got to see eye to eye.
Right.
That's the only way, because
That's
a great idea.
That's a great idea.
The opposite, but you still have to have the tiebreaker, right? Like you have to have some
it's like Formula
authority,
Drift, right? When they're doing the judging, there's 3 of them.
Right.
So one more time, and then this guy wins.
Yep.
So they're gonna do one more time.
Yep.
So that's
I just want to, me personally, I just would not want crowd participation. I always think it's garbage.
Yeah, that's
Not
garbage.
crowd participation. Like the crowd is there to view the judges.
No, I'm
They're
talking
not
about
texting
crowd
you to win, remember that?
participation. These guys aren't clapping for the car that wins. It's got to be a technical.
Yeah,
win.
remember text to win? We
Yeah,
used to do that for the army.
That was terrible.
You used to have like a text, like a
Yeah.
and then it just if you had enough friends, you could win.
Right.
It was
Remember
crazy.
that Carlisle used to do that too. Participants' choice,
Right.
and they would
Yes.
select your car and stuff.
That was
like
social media before social media because you
Before.
needed followers and likes.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
it was.
Right.
Right? That was-
You
it
know,
was awesome.
I think that speaking on the topic of shows and stuff like that, there's a lack of everything from entertaining to judging, and I've seen it all. Creativity, you got to be original. How do you be original in a world where everything has been done? Everything's been done.
What do you?
So
They don't know what I'm about to drop.
a lot.
Oh, right.
Oh,
You
glad,
don't
glad.
know what I'm
drop
about to
it.
drop.
I need you to drop it.
Yeah.
Well,
I wanna see
what
it.
Harry's got planned. I think is going to take a lot of teams to the next level, like
Good.
a lot. Well, what you want to share with them after?
Yeah, I'll share it
Okay,
after. After.
You good?
We need more innovators, more leaders, right? People with great ideas. We need people to work together. I've been saying this for quite some time. Again, I travel the world. I just got back from Dominican Republic. I'm going to be hosting my first show ever in the history of Dominican Republic. I just did Puerto Rico. Like I do a lot of shows outside of the U.S. and I see a lot of different aspects and perspectives of enthusiasts. And what the people really want is entertainment. They want to bang for their bucks, man. And a lot of these shows have just become a profitable business that's now starting to die completely.
So let me ask you this: what's the entertainment? Is it car builds or is it, active entertainment at the show?
It begins with the car builds because the consumer's paying you an entry fee to see a car that either is exclusive, Emotion's releasing something tomorrow that no one's gonna see. That excitement keeps Emotion going and that hype and the platform. So yes, the cars are a key factor in that.
What do you think, Ray?
About
About what is needed in a promoter's repertoire?
to invest in the competitors at the end of the day. Like IM is doing that right now. Like they're throwing a whole bunch of money into taking the best of show winner out, and that was the wrong best of show winner. Sorry, Tommy. But yeah, man, I went over there to help critique, and I got jumped.
You got jumped.
I got jumped. It was his judges, and he was like, "Oh, this is Ray. He's gonna help," and they were just kind of.
Well, you're the new black sheep right in the crew,
they
so that's
were
gonna
hell-bent in
happen.
their ways.
It happens to me a lot.
And then my guy Tommy was like, "Man, I gotta lead them all the time. That's why I got messed up." I was like, "You don't have a good team if you gotta lead them all the time. Like they should know better by now."
But me, I would bring a guy like Ray on. Because the knowledge is there,
Right.
the history is there, the storytelling is there.
Right.
So therefore, it's relatable not only to the participant, but to the sponsorships. See, events are a collective things happening at the same time. So you bring someone that's knowledgeable like Ray, that was part of the association, or you bring like an Andy Goodman, right? They're staple names that actually are impactful. While when he walks in the room, they're gonna say, well, who's the new guy? Yeah. It's okay for that. I'm sure Ray walks in there with his chin up high regardless.
Yeah, it don't matter.
It don't matter. Right. But
There's
we
some
need
stuff I see
more
that's
of
because
that.
of me. I was like, I know why.
Well, what's funny is like I was telling Slick before one of his lives. I'm sure you watch his lives. Is that the judges can be a draw too? Right?
Yeah.
If you
If
have
you have
a
the right
certain
judges.
judge.
I don't know
Right.
if it's the judges or the competition, right? Like the judges is one thing, but if you have a good judge and they don't have any criteria for that event, then they're just kind of selecting what the judge's preference is.
But the thing is, somebody that has the experience that you have,
We know the preference.
Right, but I
Right.
want you.
We
to
know the
critique-
criteria.
I want you to critique my card because I know at that point it's only going to be like, dude, what the fuck did you do? Like, or dude, what did you do? Like,
Right? Like right now, Lewis, if Lewis was advertised as a judge at XYZ show, and XYZ promoter was like, hey, we'd like you to come out,
Yeah,
I would be like, absolutely.
of course.
Right?
So you need to balance, right? Yeah, you need to balance because having the right judge and the right name behind that judging brings the quality competitors. In the Northeast, there's a lot of bad bills that don't come to shows.
right, but
and
that's
the
what I'm
judging
saying.
has a
we
lot to do
need
with
to.
it.
I mean, we as competitors need to talk to the promoters and say, hey, we want the premier judges to come here.
They're not
and
going to
do-
listen.
They're not willing to
I know,
listen.
that's the
Yeah,
problem.
they've already.
They're not listening
you were on
to you
live
because-
lives that you were saying. I was dying
Here's what I'm going to
laughing.
say, and I'm going to say this on camera. Like, they're not listening to you, and the reason they're not listening to you is because it's no longer about the competitor. It's about the consumer. It's about how many spectators are walking into the door.
Yep.
Okay, so
It's about the
you, a person like Harry, I would love to host Harry and have him at my show, and I'll give you the spaces for free, and you'll win Best of Show. It happens a lot, right? I'm just using Harry as an example. I'm not saying it happens with him, but the judges, the promoters that are out right now don't care to listen to the sponsor that's paying the working dollar, or the competitor that's making that platform that exclusive, or the vendor that's paying that $1,000 fee. Because you know what? They're gonna get the consumer, they're gonna get the spectator, and that's where the money is. So the spectator's not gonna complain. The spectator's gonna complain on social media when the money's already there.
Understood. So going back to what you were saying about the cars being a good draw, good judges, good cars, it'll take some time, but the masses of the people that want to see those cars will come.
Absolutely.
It's just going to take time.
Mix entertainment in there too. Don't forget the entertainment aspect
yeah.
of it either.
Yeah, I think that was one big aspect. I touched on it before, like, you know, magazine publications, like the cover model. It was like, where can we go see him, right? And it was
Right.
at Honda, like that was a big
Model
part of it,
lounge, yeah.
right? Like, and now that there's no publication, there's no need for models, but they got replaced with influencers, right? But even influencers like TJ, right? TJ Hunt. It was like he was doing TE, and then
Yeah.
him and Dustin, and then all of a sudden
He was doing TE because AutoCon. So when we first had our auto,
Who's that?
I think
T Hunt?
like 2018 or 19, we had TJ Hunt, and we didn't expect him to bring like 7,000 people. He brought like 7,000 people, just him himself.
So it's great that you say that because at the time I was revamping Tuner Evolution. I was with the company, and we decided to bring TJ to North Carolina and Dustin. And we did a deal with McGuire's at the time. I had a really great relationship with McGuire's. We did an annual sponsorship with them where they would, bring us TJ and the brand, and he was pulling in thousands of people. So nothing against TE or J, the crew, but it becomes an asset. It becomes like, okay, so we're gonna capitalize with TJ. So that's an investment that the brand is making, not only for themselves, but also from an entertaining perspective. So while it does work at times, I feel like in the US market, it's just saturated. It's not
It
working
is now.
anymore.
Yeah, I think we paid TJ like $6,000 or $7,000, and then
That's cheap.
with the 7,000 people he had, you could only imagine they probably spent like $50 to $100 each person. He was like, "That's the best event
It's a
I ever been
no-brainer.
to." Yeah, he banged. He banged.
But you can't do that anymore because those influencers now are capitalizing on YouTube and socials and stuff. So the exclusivity factor is not there no more.
Well, you got to get the young ones that are up and coming. You know, like Fresh Kicks. I think he has some good content.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I saw him. I think
100%.
I think he's like the next generation kind of guy.
So do you guys think it's sort of one of those things where, like, I'm not calling any of you guys old, but not you guys, but you guys are kind of still got your finger on the pulse of what's going on as far as the
I mean, that's what keeps me young.
right.
You know, that's found a
But
youth for
maybe
real.
some of the guys that are running the shows aren't, again, not listening to kind of like, this is a perfect example of things that you're saying they should do, and
Well, they're focusing on takeovers. I mean, if you're gonna have like, you know, a takeover kind of function at your car show or car meet, and people are attracted to that,
And the
then
numbers
you're
are
gonna
there.
get the masses. You know,
And the numbers are there. That's
have
what's
your kid.
happening.
Yep.
I've worked with a lot of brands that have approached me and said, you have a great style, your page, your design work, your graphics. We want you to apply it to our brand. I can't because the vision, they're not alike.
right, they're not aligned.
It's
Yeah, they're
conflicting.
not aligned.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. I just, you know, again, all these things you guys are bringing up are good points, you know, to bring young guys into this, right? And doing it right. Not that there's anything against, you know, a parking lot meet or, you know, what's going on out here, but bringing out competition. You know, there's a natural part inside of a lot of guys that's either I'm gonna punch you in the face because I can beat you up, right? Or I'm gonna drive faster than you because my car's faster than yours. Or I'm gonna sit in this parking lot and we're gonna see who's got the bigger trophy at the end of the day. We have to figure out a way to get the competition out of these guys, and it's not sitting in the parking lot blasting music for an hour. You know what I mean? there has to be another level.
To me, they're the tailgaters at the car show. At the end of the day, I see them as like they're there to support. Sometimes they just don't have the means of building their car.
But everybody came from that,
Yeah.
right? Everybody came from oh, I don't have the money. Like my
Not everybody. I know some people though.
Right. I'm in Ho, right?
But there isn't a competitive.
I'm talking from experience. I know I'm from that, but
There isn't a competitive platform that you could give me right now in the U.S. You know, I had my '97 Mugen catalog build. Remember? Beautiful car. I'm itching to build another car. One of the best Civics at the time, I think, right? And I'm itching to build, but as an enthusiast, do I want to do it for me, for myself, for my family, from an artistic perspective? Yes. From a competitive standpoint, there's nothing for me to build a car to go compete.
And that's you though.
That's you, right? So
That's you.
let me.
You've done it.
Yeah.
You've done it all.
So for me, and I've told this story over and over again, but for the Civic, right? Like nothing else to prove with that car. Nothing at all, right? But again, my friend died. My very good friend died last year, and the shop, the parents gave his car to the shop, Brothers Garage, that I partner with to finish that car, and they were like, "Hey, Harry, you still have your Civic?" And of course I do. So we brought it out to Honda Day, right? And I was like, it was just supposed to be one and done, right? Brought it there, and just the reaction, huge from that day. I was in the back. I was in the way back, like last row. I was here for my friend. I was not here for but everyone was just like, oh my
Time
God,
capsule.
oh my God. Right,
Yeah.
time
Time
capsule,
capsule.
right?
What a feeling, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. And based off that, my manager now is like, hey, we're taking this thing on tour this year. And I'm like, what? And that's what it was. And then every stop that we did, it was just more and more and more and more. And, whether I didn't need it to win awards, but it would win awards. So I'm like, damn,
Starting to
this
accumulate.
freaking 20-year-old build, like still taking home
coming back.
trophies, right? And, we always talk about retro Jordans, right? What's old is new, it always comes back.
Right.
The one thing I didn't take into account when bringing this car back out was my son. My son's 11 now. Last year he was 10, right? And
shout out Kobe.
and he would, he'd always ask me, like, because the car was sitting in my garage, just right next to my Lexus in the garage. And he'd just be like, what's that? I'm like, oh, it's my Civic, right? And he's like,
He never saw it in action.
He never really saw it in action, right? And it's funny because when he was like a kid, like when you go to the toy or the drugstore, and then they got those die-cast cars at the end. There was a IS300. He's like, Dad, it's your Civic, and I'm like, not my Civic. Right?
Yeah.
It's on the back end, right? But for him to ask me like, oh, what was it like, and and now it's like he can see it. He can see it. He can experience
action.
it, right? Because now every time I register that car, I register under his name. So every time, if it wins, he's the one that goes up. He's the one that gets the trophy, and it's like that's what it was like. You know what I mean?
But this is kind of these guys.
And that was all like not
planned.
not
Organic,
planned.
organic,
And that's the bonus. And that's what I'm saying. So for you, if you want to build it, build it.
Yeah.
Build it. You're only gonna get that personal satisfaction.
Yeah, exactly.
I
If
think
it's for you, don't compete.
Well, that's what I'm missing. Like the love, the passion is there. It's just actually building something again.
I think the best part about car shows isn't the award for me. It's the
experience.
computer time, the computer time, the build time, the
Well,
ideas.
that to me is the experience, right? Like the experience of researching, building,
The journey.
Right.
Yeah, that's the journey.
And then actually displaying, right? That's the end of the experience, right? So
What's funny is we should probably get Marvin on here and talk to him about build and all that stuff.
I'm sure Ray's got to come in and close up his meet.
No, you're
We've
good.
taken him
Yeah,
for
you're good.
quite
I'll
time. But thank you guys both for coming on last second notice.
We have to
Yeah,
give
no,
him-
thanks for
we have to give
visiting
him
us.
the round robin questions. the
Oh
fast
yeah. We'll do that.
questions. Yeah.
But then how do we do that without him here?
What do you mean?
Actually, you know what?
They can
All
hear.
right, I'm gonna say one or the other, and both of y'all just yell out what you prefer. It's called lightning round.
Lightning round. Right.
Okay? So we'll just do it, instead of doing you and then you, I'll just do it, right? All right, import, domestic.
Import.
The best thing.
Oh, what?
What? Hey, can we erase it? No.
Turbo or NA?
Think about this real quick. What's the best show out there right now? It's a domestic show, right? The Riddler Award. Are we competing there yet or not yet?
So I don't.
Here's what we're talking. It's wicked.
Oh, God, here we
No. He's right. And the guys that are participating in that award are hard fucking core.
You guys are hardcore too. So
No.
Don't take credit from me. Take
it goes
away
hand in
credit
hand.
from me.
He's
Yeah.
right.
The
Think of
build,
Hot Rod Journal. Like that's still a badass magazine.
the builds are not 5-year builds. They're 20-year builds. And these guys have like innovative ass ideas that they thought of 20 years ago, and they're just now seeing it at the Riddler competition, which is mind blowing. And the execution is
It's like in a nun, right?
right. The problem is that you got, like, for me, I like to build. I like to build, and I'm always tinkering, right? For me, I got my boss that tells me, "Yo, are you done?"
Yeah. Right.
Someone's got to, be the
push
guy
him.
that
Yeah,
does
gotta
that,
push.
right? Like,
I just need 20 years.
Think about the Ring brothers. They just built that Aston Martin retro.
That thing is insane.
And the Gordon, the S1 from the
haven't
F1
seen
commercial.
that one
Oh
yet.
my God. I mean, that's why I say domestic.
Aston Martin. That Aston
That's
Martin,
why I
though.
say domestic.
He
Yeah.
wants to
nasty.
throw you to the wolves.
Who does?
He's trying to throw you into the
right.
wolves.
all right.
But it can be done.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
That's what guys
that's
can
what
do
Rubens-
it.
yeah.
We can do it.
All right. Turbo or NA?
NA.
Turbo.
I thought we were friends.
I like Turbo too.
I like Turbo, but NA.
I like NA too, but yeah, I mean,
It's a different rush.
yeah.
Nike, Adidas.
Nike.
Swoosh.
Ooh, damn. What else do we got? Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks?
Starbucks, man.
Star Business.
You guys up here, man. Like,
Jersey.
We're closer though.
It should be Volk or BBS.
We haven't got-
If you ask me, if you ask me, I'm sorry, but BBS.
Days. You already know. First to
How
come
about-
out with two
hold on,
piece,
I
three
got
piece.
The
some
story
insight.
behind BBS is much deeper in
know it.
culture.
I got some inside information on you. So Volk or Racing Heart?
Racing Heart.
I gotta go with the pedigree of Volk.
Well,
then I like
I don't
Racing
think there
Heart.
would have been a Volk evolution
Racing
without
Heart.
Racing Heart. Yeah. Racing Heart, it's like that motorsports wheel that went into the show and go.
Right.
But they got such an iconic wheel, the
Yeah.
T37.
Oh, the T37 is
It's
classic.
in every video game. Everybody replicates it. That's why I went with the Volk. That's the only reason. If they didn't have that wheel,
That's a good reason.
if they didn't have that wheel, then no.
Yeah, that's crazy. If they didn't
Rapper
have that
paint.
wheel. What's that?
Rapper.
Oh, paint all day.
Paint all day.
But yeah, people can't afford paint. Well, I can't afford paint.
But you
so-
know, they're affording $4,200, $4,500 wraps. Think about it.
They're halfway there.
well,
halfway there.
that's triple of some paint jobs. See what I'm saying? That's the problem. It's like 5,000 or 15,000. Yeah, give or take.
You know, I would spend $10,000 yearly to paint the car over and over just to go to the next show and win.
Yeah, I'm not sure about spending that much on paint again. But
It's crazy.
One or two more times. One or two more times.
I mean, I would hit him with the team thing, but I think we've covered enough of that, and I'm not trying to expose us anymore. Well, okay. So what I was doing at the end of the day was, for example, I did Jay, right, who's PA based.
Mm-hmm.
So I would hit him with the Emotion or WR team, right, or I did something with Clean. So I was like, Clean or Emotion, So.
That's a team up in Virginia, right?
They're
Maryland,
Maryland.
yeah.
They giving you guys a run for your money or
But
what?
they're fairly new.
I saw your face. I don't even want to look at
George.
I want them to beat you guys, but it doesn't seem like they're going
For
to.
me, it's gonna be Emotion. It's gonna be Emotion because I grew up on it.
Appreciate that.
And even my personal build, when that build came about, it was behind like traveling out west when the tour to compete against Hybrid happened. And like that era of just the evolution of Emotion, for me, it's like they're a staple, bro. They're
Did
the
you bring
supreme.
your car out to LA with the AMS guys with New Image? Was that
So
you?
we were. I was there. I participated in that.
Because that's when they whipped the West Coast butt, and I made sure all my
That
West
one was
Coast
crazy.
judges judged the car competition.
See, that's what we need, Ray. You just said
I balance
something.
it. I balance
we
it.
need a platform, an event. And I was just talking with Billy Hung, my good friend, and talk to him all the time. And I'm trying to create a new program for us in the Northeast. And what
It's
we
available
need
for the
is,
taking. Take it.
I don't even want to. We'll talk off camera for that one.
All right, guys. I gotta get a drink of water.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Thank you guys for your
Thanks,
time.
man. No
problem.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us,
housing
Harry.
us, man.
All right, man.